calamari. If not, you have to look it up, find out maybe from a friend, some people that also love to prepare calamari. So what I've done is clean it out and then take a couple teaspoons of your rice mixture and add it. Now remember, rice triples in size, so you don't want to overstuff your calamari. Rice triples in size, so you don't want your rice to explode. So what I did is I put a couple teaspoons of the mixture inside. Use your spoon, use a small teaspoon. I'm using a plastic one because it seems to slide a little bit better inside. Move it to the bottom. And then next, take a toothpick and close up your calamari. Also use a casserole dish. This is actually an oven-safe pan. So in case you're wondering how you're going to bake that in the oven, this is actually an oven-safe pan. So you can actually not worry about the handle melting. So I want to thank you once again for joining me here on Eatright by George, the healthy cooking show showing you healthy can be delicious. Enjoy your stuffed calamari.
Our cooking demonstration, and we will be having a chef from Schoolcraft College by the name of George Repetis. He's also a nutritionist, and I'd like to have you welcome him to the stage. Please give a round of applause.
Yay! Thank you.
I'm sure each of you would like to have your own chef at home. However, if that's not at all possible, you can speak with George after the demonstration. At this time, I'd like to introduce George Repetis, our chef from Schoolcraft College.
Thank you, Lori. It's great to be here. And on today's menu, I'll be showing you how to make spinach pie, which is also spanakopita in Greek. It's a healthy dish. It's healthy and delicious. And I'm going to show you how things can be healthy and delicious by using herbs, fresh cheese, spinach, onions, olive oil, which is great for your cholesterol, sea salt, lemons, some eggs, and then for dessert, I'll be preparing tuxedo strawberries with dark chocolate. How many of you have heard that dark chocolate can be good for you? Yeah. Well, I've been melting some dark chocolate, so I'll show you how to give you some tips how to work with chocolate, which is can be a little bit complicated sometimes. And also some white chocolate and strawberries, and we'll make a tuxedo strawberry, and I'll show you some other little designs using our little decorator bottle, what else you can do. But first we'll start off with the spinach pie. We'll get that ready. You want to hold it first?
Is that going to work for you?
That's just for the camera.
Okay, I'll hold it for you.
Okay.
Please pay close attention to our chef. We know that it can be difficult to hear, so those of you in the audience, if you could use quiet voices. We ask that you please do not come back to the line for food a second time until the first group is eaten.
Okay, for our audience here, first thing you're going to need is a half cup of olive oil. And I'm going to use that. Sure. Yes, using extra virgin olive oil, of course, the first cold press. And I'm going to use the olive oil to grease the bottom of our casserole dish using a pastry brush. So make sure you have a pastry brush. It makes your life a whole lot easier. Well, pastry brush works a lot better. And next I'm using phyllo dough, which is, of course, cholesterol-free.
Cholesterol-free, that's a good thing.
And make sure when you're using phyllo dough, take it out from the freezer the night before. Don't try to use it straight from the freezer because it will break. And I'm lining the bottom of our casserole dish with one. You tuck in the sides. And you, which one? Oh. And you want to alternate these. You want to start from left, middle to right. So. Okay. Now the first 6 layers, you don't have to oil them with the pastry brush because that's going to be your crust. It's the bottom.
Just to make sure you guys are paying attention, how many layers do you say you don't have to brush with olive oil? 6.
Good class. Uh-oh. Now you have to work quick with phyllo dough because it can start to dry out and crack. So you notice I'm working very swiftly here. Now once I get to my 6th layer, I'm going to take my olive oil and brush it all on the sides.
It's not a good idea to pour it. You got to brush it.
Yes. Make sure you get in the corners because that's where it can dry out. And next is when you're going to put in your filling. So what I took, I'm using a cup of spinach that I chopped earlier.
George, do you have to wash that spinach?
Yes, make sure to wash spinach in case there's any kind of dirt in the spinach. I'm also chopping 4 green onions. So I already took the roots off to work quicker.
Are you going to cry, George?
Usually I don't, but I'm used to it. But someone out there might. So if you're going to cry, maybe you could chew gum. They say you can do a lot of different things to avoid crying with onions. Chewing gum, holding your breath, I heard. Wear glasses. There's a lot of different strategies. And you notice I'm also using the green part. I want to get all the nutrition in there. I'm also using mint. So you need about a tablespoon of fresh mint. And I like to grow it right from my garden. It comes out every year. And also fresh dill. So I don't want the stems, so I just go for the leaves for the most part. I'll mix that up. Then
I just want to interject for those of you that can't tell, I'm able to smell these herbs and they're so beautiful. You guys have to grow your herb gardens. Go visit Home Depot.
Then you want to combine 1 cup of feta cheese. That's a lower fat cheese. Mixing that up. And I also have 4 eggs. So I'm going to combine my eggs, spinach, herbs, feta cheese.
1 cup of cheese?
1 cup of feta cheese.
How many eggs?
4 eggs. And then the juice of 1 lemon. Hoppa. And that's basically your filling for your spanakopita. Now I'm going to add that to our phyllo.
That's not too hard. No offense, George.
Just takes a little practice. Make sure to spread it around, get into the corners.
George, would you ever want to use frozen spinach?
If you don't have fresh spinach available in your pantry, you can use frozen spinach as well. But I think the fresh tastes a little bit better than the frozen. Yeah, so I would stick with fresh instead of frozen. Yeah.
So recap would be we've got spinach, we've got dill, we've got
Mint.
and we've got eggs and lemon.
Now you want to continue doing your layers. Now after you've added the filling, you have to butter each layer. You have to grease each layer. Because that's what's going to hold it together. Is the olive oil. Because the phyllo dough will dry out at this point. So you want to alternate. This is a quick version. When you do it at home, you can take your time a little bit more and get better acquainted with your phyllo. And what phyllo is basically it's dough that's cut into paper thin sheets.
George, could you substitute the cheese for a different type?
You could use ricotta cheese or cottage cheese. You can also add some Parmesan, yes. You can get phyllo dough now even at Kroger or the major ones now, but mostly if you go to an international market, they do have phyllo dough. They should have it. Like Italian market, yes. Yep, I'll get the recipe for you too. It's also in the book if you want. I got in the Gourmet's Guide also. This recipe's also in the book.
Please note that we do have 2 of the cookbooks that George has authored, and they are available for sale today. They're a lovely gift, or you can use it for yourself.
Autograph.
To promote better, healthy eating, and he's even going to autograph it for you. Wow!
That's right. And whoever has Bright House, you can catch me on Bright House. I have a cooking show called Eatright by George on Bright House.
Back to that pastry brush.
A lot of work. It does a good job though.
So George, have you been making this since you were a small child in your mother's kitchen?
Yeah, this is actually one of the first recipes I ever learned, being from a Greek household. We learned this. We learned how to make Easter bread, little shortbread cookies, grape leaves, stuffed grape leaves as well. Okay, this will be the last one. And then I'll show you how to slice it as well. Now, the thing with spinach pie is that you slice it before you put it in the oven. You can't slice it after. Yeah.
Learn something new every day. Don't slice the pie after the oven. Do it
Before. And basically what you do is take your small paring knife. And you want to cut all the way down. Have your oven preheated to 350.
George, could you use the pizza roller?
I don't think pizza roller would work as well.
Okay, don't use a pizza roller.
No. And you want to actually kind of hold it down because the feel could get away from you a little bit. You want to go all the way down. And that's it. You pop this in the oven at 350 until golden brown, and it'll puff up. And then you would take each piece out, and you can serve it with rice or with a little yogurt dip. It's nice for lunch. It's a nice light lunch, even for a little, sometimes appetizers. I'll show you also how to make a little spinach pie appetizers real quick.
Let's give George a round of applause before he starts the appetizer.
Thank you.
Yay, George.
Thank you, Lori. Now for the appetizers, all you have to do is take the phyllo dough and cut it in half. So now you have 2 slices.
For those of you that are just now starting to pay attention, we've completed the spinach pie. Now we're on to an appetizer.
So what you can do next, oil your phyllo dough.
Will you save me a vegetarian?
We ask that any vendors that have not had lunch, please go now. Any vendors that have not had lunch, please go now.
You would just take some of your filling, the spinach, some of your mint, the dill. If you have some feta left over with egg, you would just fold this like an envelope. So over the mixture, then fold one side then the left, and then roll it up. And you got yourself a little spinach appetizer. You can fill a whole bunch of these and bake them the same way you would bake the spinach pie. And don't forget to brush them with a little olive oil. In the same way, you can have little appetizers that way as well. Giving you different ideas.
That's delightful, isn't it?
Yep. There's also triangles. So you would just cut it down the center. And same thing. Take your herbs.